up next, everyone, we have an essential and a most influential panel. Here we are going to be joined by a group of extremely influential experts here to dissect the leading ladies empowering the Trailblazers, women leading the charge in blockchain and envisioning the future of decentralized technologies. Everyone, please allow me to welcome our moderator, Ms. Cristina Najera, the founder of Najera Ventures. As a community champion, Ms. Cristina grows awareness and participation in the Web3 ecosystem through local events, meetups, and social media engagement. Joined by Ms. Amalia Grochal, the founder of MIRAI DAO and a member of the Ordinal Council. She has been organizing and shaping the future of the Bitcoin network, currently leading ToshiPad's due diligence of prospective launches, along with Ms. Paula Tavangar, the Chief Investment Officer of Injaz Capital. Ms. Paula is a seasoned entrepreneur and a respected leader in the Fintech, blockchain, and quantitative finance sectors. Along with Ms. Laura Kornelija, the CEO of Inamedinova. Ms. Laura is an international keynote speaker and an award-winning CEO of LKI Consulting, a London-based 7-digit Web3 marketing and design agency. We have one more panelist joining us, Ms. Hoda Alkhzaimi, the director and co-chair of the Emartsec. Ms. Hoda is an experienced, motivated, and innovative leader in industrialization, economic development, and greenfield project development and tech development. Everyone, please welcome Ms. Hoda with a huge round of applause.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. We are very excited about this panel, especially because we want to raise awareness on how we as women are leading this space. I think it's very important to have presence of women in a tech space because, as we all know, it's mostly male-dominated. I'm very happy to have my speakers here. My name is Cristina Najera, and I represent Algorand in the UAE. I also represent Startup Grind, the largest community of entrepreneurs worldwide. And I have a consultancy firm that helps entrepreneurs to come to Dubai, entrepreneurs that are in Web3 and AI. So I would love to start with Amalia. Amalia, you have plenty of experience on Bitcoin, especially mining. What do you think Dubai needs to achieve in order to become a hub for Web3?
So far, Dubai is doing very well since the last, I would even say, 5 years, although we see the results in the last 2 years. And I see that every emirate pretty much works on their own sub-regulations and specializations that they want to support. And then pretty much every single Web3 AI entrepreneur can find something for themselves, right? You can just pick and choose. You can get grants, you can get support, you can get debt funding from the government itself. Where else do we have that for crypto? Nowhere else. So with that being said, I think we are on a very good way forward, and I'm looking for more in the future.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Now we are going to Paula. Paula, you have plenty of experience on trading and fintech. How do you see Dubai as a place for keep updating this technology or this industry? How do you see fintech playing a role in Dubai?
I think that, as Amalia mentioned, Dubai has been putting immense efforts, both from the government sector and also from the private sector, to support any types of new technologies, and kind of naturally fintech also benefit from it. And I remember maybe around 6-7 years ago when I entered myself the fintech sector, I was simply attracted by all the I was just curious. Like I didn't have an idea what exactly I'm gonna do, but I was just curious because there were so many events and there were so many entrepreneurs coming and bringing their ventures from abroad, specifically to Dubai, that I wanted also to explore myself, and that's how kind of my career path started in fintech. But I definitely agree with Amalia that Dubai has been doing really exceptional efforts compared to other regions in the world to support both entrepreneurs and support innovative ideas. So I think that here is a perfect environment and ecosystem to launch new ideas. Usually as a startup, you struggle to create your legal structure, you struggle to connect with parties to work with, and especially when it comes to fintech and financial technologies, you need to operate with companies that already are in financial management, they have high revenue, so they're usually pretty closed. They don't want to disclose their information, and they don't want competition. So I feel that abroad is way more hostile than here. Here, most of the companies already have that mindset of that we need to improve to continue existing. So that's why they're way more open to new financial technologies. And that's why I think that we're very, very lucky to have the opportunity to be here and build.
Perfect, thank you. Now we are going to have a question for Laura. Laura, you are considered a Web3 voice, so we'd love to hear your insights on what are the challenges for startups, especially because at Najera Ventures we help entrepreneurs in this sector. So since you have been in many conferences, what are the opportunities and challenges that you see on this sector?
So first of all, before I go into all the challenges, I think we need to acknowledge that everyone here right now who is in this audience, who are in this conference, who are building in the bear market, in the probably one of the hardest times to build, they're gonna be the leaders of tomorrow's bull run. So whatever challenges everyone is having, these are such a short-term challenges before the bull run. And I've been in this space since 2016. And throughout all of these years in the space now running a marketing agency, I've seen firsthand founders with amazing ideas, groundbreaking ideas who can actually have a long-lasting impact, failing because of the 3 key reasons. One of them is choosing the wrong team, not finding people who are passionate enough, and hiring too fast. Everyone's saying, hey, you need to hire fast, but you need to fire fast as well. So even if you have to go through a lot of people, hire and fire 5, 6, 10, do it, because the right team can make it or break it. Number 2, not really understanding the space. A lot of people come to this space because of the media headlines of people becoming rich overnight, of Bitcoin reaching all-time high, and a person who was a taxi driver one day becomes a millionaire and Twitter influencer with millions of followers. This is not the right place to come in. This is a very tough market, and usually that overnight success is 5 years in the making. And number 3, from the marketing perspective, as I run a marketing agency, is not building long-lasting quality community. A lot of clients come to us and they're like, we want 100,000 Twitter followers, 100,000 Discord community members, and ask them, why 100,000? Oh, this is a big number, we want it. If we have 100,000, people will buy our token, people will buy our services, their project. That's not true. You might have only 20,000 people, 10,000 people, but if they're all people with a high purchasing power, very much affiliated with a project and wants you to succeed, they might overpower 100, 200, 300,000 community members who are there because you bought some shillers. So building the right community and understanding what it is probably one of the biggest challenges I see in my day-to-day work.
You have a lot of experience on investment in UAE and internationally. At Najera Ventures, we also help entrepreneurs to connect with investors. So I would love to know, how do you see the difference between investors here in the UAE and investors, international investors?
I don't think there is like a huge difference because in the UAE you have a very active international scenes of investor, either in, if you looked at the portfolio of companies that has been growing from specific structured ecosystems like the IFC and ADGM, you do have a lot of international investments pulling into local investments funds. The only thing that I see that's a difference is having structures of different ecosystems that support investments. For example, for Dubai, they made very sure that they structure the different initiatives that they are building to attract new emerging technologies like the Web3, for example, startups, by structuring policies and strategies and legalized bodies that would allow these investments to exist locally, and at the same time pushing for regulation to exist that would support these entrepreneurs. And thus establishing new regulations for building funds and fund of funds locally in UAE in order to push in for a thriving ecosystem that's active. We've seen Dubai Future Fund setting up a goal of pushing for Web3 industry for $1.7 billion. And also we've seen the launch of Hub 71 fund for $2 billion as well. It's interesting to see the likes of this structured investment, but also we should not rely on that, and we should as well aspire to attract international funding locally. So I think it's about providing somehow a structured ecosystem, because always you're dealing with an emerging technology, you will be missing something one way or another, and there are legacy systems within the space, and there will be always the frictions with legacy system, legacy regulations, but the number one, I think, factor that activates a positive outcome is the fact that the government is invested in making sure that there is a positive push of establishing a global hub in Dubai or in Abu Dhabi or in UAE in general when it comes for Web3 activity.
Thank you. Let's move to Amalia again. You have a lot of experience on DeFi. How do you see the regulations on the UAE on this specific topic?
That's a very interesting question. Actually, I would like to turn it around. How the government and the banks can leverage DeFi and smart contracts to facilitate what they facilitate nowadays in, let's say, old school manner. You can have collateralized loans, right? That we probably all know of. You can have that in regular banking. You can also have that in DeFi. You can also peg to an NFT an ownership, a deed, title deed of your house. Actually, Dubai Land Department does keep their title deeds since already a couple years on blockchain. Imagine taking those, releasing NFTs, and now bank can directly check who owns the house, if there is any other debt funding on that or not, and then facilitate a loan for you, right? Everything is clear, you don't have to double check anything. Then, let's say if the loan gets nearly liquidated, you can also have a secondary market from the banks, from the private banks, from high net worth individuals that will bid on the loan that gets nearly nearly liquidated, right? So that could actually enable, so to say, old school banking and let them leverage what we do every single day on DeFi, right? So I am pretty much a believer that in the next 3 years, there will be no SWIFT transactions and there will be no collateralized loans provided off-chain by banks. See how many banks have asked right now to get a license for a neobank, a mix of regular banking plus crypto banking. Every single big bank here And even in US, we see that coming. Why is that? Why they're chasing this specific license? This is why, because they know if they don't keep up, even with DeFi, they won't make it in the next 3-5 years to stay on top.
Thank you. Paula, as a co-founder, you have explored the intersection between fintech and Islamic finance. Would you like to tell us more about it?
Definitely. I previously said that I think that Dubai and generally the GCC region is a very exciting space for fintech. And then when you cross that with Islamic finance, I think it gets even more interesting and you have even more opportunity to innovate and actually make a difference. Because it's it seems like a very niche market, but actually first the Muslim population is very high, and the second thing is that these are type of products that can be used by anyone. Actually, it doesn't really matter even a financial application, let's say, is Sharia compliant. This just makes it more ethical and better way of investing. So for me, that's a sector that is extremely exciting, and we had seen together with the traditional fintech, we had seen a significant growth in the past few years and more initiatives from the governments in the region. Like recently, I think I had seen even more accelerators launching in Saudi, like some have their own sandbox. They have different accelerator programs similar to what we have here in Fintech Hive. And obviously, such companies always have, such Islamic fintech technologies, they have their own quota in such programs, which I find to be very fascinating. So I'm very optimistic. I think that there is a lot more to be innovated in the space. We had seen a lot of new projects coming out of Malaysia, and I think that here we have the perfect ecosystem to be able to compete.
Thank you. Let's move to Laura. How do you see Dubai positioning the city as a hub of international entrepreneurs? From the marketing perspective on Web3, how do you see the opportunities that Dubai presents compared to other cities?
So when I first came to Dubai 3 years ago, I knew no one. I came accidentally to one of the conferences, and I was blown away by the community of foreigners, expats who come here, some of them just for the conferences, some of them for a season, some of them live, and they actually built a crypto community here, which I didn't see when I was living in London, when I was spending my time in the States. And when it comes to Dubai, Dubai at One is a hub for the Middle East. All the projects who want to position themselves in the Middle Eastern region, they start with Dubai because here are all the key decision makers, all the influencers, all the right media. Number two, from Dubai, it's very easy to reach anyone from all around the world because A, travel is easy, B, everyone comes. As you all know, throughout October and a little bit of November, there's going to be probably 20 different crypto conferences. And everyone who I met, for example, in Singapore in Token 29, everyone's planning to come to Dubai in amazing winter weather and network build relationships. So I see Dubai as one of these hubs where I can come, I can meet potential clients, partners for my business and exchange ideas. Similar cities would be Singapore, but only during Token. It would be San Francisco. But again, San Francisco is going down as the city itself. Europe is good with regulations, but they don't have these kind of hubs. London after Brexit is not that favorable anymore. Paris is trying to do something with Paris Blockchain Week and FCC, but again, it's only a couple of weeks per year. Whereas Dubai, every autumn, beginning of winter, and every spring, everyone comes here. So that's where I see very big opportunities for people who are in the region, who are in the city, to meet not just locals, but everyone else coming to you.
Amazing, thank you. Hoda, how do you see the tech investments are contributing to the sustainable growth of the economic of Dubai?
I think it's very important to realize that Dubai is trying to build a model, and this model maybe is built around establishing acceleration hubs. And acceleration hubs, they have multiple, I would say, pillars that we should invest in. One of them is actually the R&D, how much research and development you are doing to build these technologies. I mean, hardware, software development, all of this innovation kind of cycle that you should respect and attract not just investors, but as well scientists, developers, engineers that would help you build the task force for that. And the second aspect is building enough amount of regulatory and institutional frameworks that supports the economic activities within this acceleration hubs. And this is what Dubai is doing through the systematic support that you see for new funds, as Paula just described, for Fintech, Islamic Fintech, for example. I think Saudi and Dubai is one of the pioneering regions in the world after Malaysia and Indonesia that are as well pushing for this kind of a new digital assets to exist out there. And as well, we see a huge cluster for data, and I think data when it comes to understanding the visibility of the market and understanding how we should integrate different solutions together is something that we need today. And hopefully going into 2024, we'll see more of the open platforms, open data platforms that support the growth of this community. The third part, and in my opinion, is the maybe could be the easiest part amidst all of these kind of pillars, is the investor matchmaking platform where you can come, as Laura just described, and feel welcomed and feel that you are within a community that respects the diversity of backgrounds, the diversity of as well impact that you are bringing into the market. Not everyone who is coming to build a Web3 technology is after, for example, a specific market or after a specific level of profit. You would see people building their DAOs for impact and for value and for good, not for systematic operational value, not for smart contracts, but having that environment that welcomes the diversity of opinion and background, and that would also allow you to jump across different barriers is very important. So I would say Dubai would strategically place itself as a sustainable hub for investors through these small regulations that they are putting in the DIFC and in ADGM to ease up establishing funds of funds that are related to, for example, crypto exchanges and decentralized finance, blockchains, smart contracts, all of these small other aspects that exist today in the portfolio of emerging technologies.
Actually, I want to add something to that. Since we're at Crypto Expo and we're talking about digital assets, something that I personally believe is going to be a game changer and it's going to establish the dominance of the region in terms of digital assets is the regulation in Saudi Arabia. So we're still not there, but potentially if digital assets get regulated there, that is going to be massive. First, it's a very big market, and second of all, already we're seeing those projects in the works about Sharia compliant digitalizing of assets, in addition to platforms that are supporting just Sharia compliant tokens. So I feel if this market opens up together with already all the hard work that Dubai put through, that will definitely establish GCC as a leader in the digital asset class.
And I just want to add to Paula, and this is the economic nudging approach that Dubai is making. I mean, Dubai has established 2 zones for regulating digital assets, 2 authorities. I mean, one in Dubai and one in Abu Dhabi. UAE has that kind of regional kind of nudging impact that also Saudi is following suit, and I'm sure we'll see other jurisdictions as well doing the same.
Thank you for adding that. Yes, 100%. We see how the UAE or the MENA region is leading this industry. Actually, the AI and Web3 campus is also working a lot on the regulations. So we can see that we have some progress. And we would love to also ask you, Amalia, you run a DAO. Out of the many activities that you do, what are the latest trends you have seen?
Well, obviously the latest trends and DAOs that are popping up like mushrooms are definitely being created in the new Bitcoin ecosystem. And when I say new, I don't mean that this ability was just discovered in there. It's been sitting there since the Taproot SegWit upgrade, right? But nowadays, there are so many DAOs that thrive on Ordinals, thrive on stocks, thrive on BRC20. And fun fact, just today, the author of the Ordinals theory, Casey Rothermere, has tweeted that actually he would like to upgrade the protocol because there's a lot of bottlenecks that we still need to tap into. And then we have the whole opposition of currently existing DAOs that are thriving on Ordinals without utility, but just on the community itself. And so mostly on like social engagement. And then they will be losing all of their worth because of the upgrade. Even if they inscribed early, still it doesn't mean anything. And then we come back to the whole ideology that if you don't have utility in whatever you release, if it's a community, if it's a token, if it's an ordinal, anything that is in Web3 space, if you're lacking utility, sooner or later, you will be saying goodbye.
Thank you. Let's move to Paula. Paula, you have been involved in the world of angel investors. How do you see, or would you like to share some insights on how they play an important role on the entrepreneurs in Web3?
Absolutely. Well, obviously, angel investors are playing a very crucial role in every sector in the startup world. And I think that here we have a pretty vibrant community of angel investors, and this all connects to the rest of the conversation that we were having, that a lot of digital nomads are moving to Dubai. So I think that just being situated here, it already gives a very good access to those networks. We have few particular angel clubs out of Dubai. So I think that they're very, very crucial for the Web3 community. And I think that when maybe kind of an advice from a VC point of view, as a startup, you're always starting your seed round with angel investors, right? And instead of being in a rush just to be able to complete that round, I always advise to put such names on your cap table that would be beneficial long term. So usually angel investors, they also come with their expertise, else than obviously their tickets to the round. So such investors can be really determined about the future of the company. So I always advise to take people with further care else than evaluating just their ticket size, but more of their reputation and also what they can bring on board and also what they are ready to bring to the table, if they have the time and availability to do that.
Thank you so much. Now the last question for Laura. Being in the Web3 space, would you like to share more about the differences between the Web2 and Web3 marketing, and how do you see this new way to approach people and clients has changing the way people behave as well?
Of course. So today I'm in a good mood, so I'm gonna share with you the key steps clients who come to us, and our retainer starts from 10K a month and above, they pay to get these insights, but I'm gonna share it for free, the whole kind of very quickly in 1-2 minutes. Someone has questions, they can catch me afterwards. All the steps we do to build a community in Web3, which is very, very different than building a community in Web2. So in Web3, the most important thing is getting what? Audience. And you as a project, just by posting on Twitter, just by creating some content, you're not gonna get any audience. What you need to do is leverage someone else's audience. And either you can do it for free if you have the resources and access, or you pay. You pay media, you pay influencers, you pay certain companies to do partnerships. So number one thing, what we always say to our clients is you have to find someone else with the audience and leverage that audience. If you can do it for free because of your audience, because of your network, amazing. That's number one. Number two, once you find a way where you're leveraging that audience, number two is to create very clear value proposition. What is it? Is it selling the token, getting signups? Is it airdrop? And understand that it's not about you, it's about them, the audience. Why would they need to care? Why do they need to care about another DeFi project, another gaming project, another layer one? They don't care about it. If you're a layer one, if you do an airdrop where everyone can make money, amazing. That's what they care about. If you're a game and people can again play and earn, that's a valid proposition. You need to give very clear value proposition for your community. And yes, that comes with a price. Doing a project in Web3 is much more expensive than a project in Web2. We always say whatever you want to raise, you need to invest from 10 to 20% into marketing. So that means if you want to raise $1 million, you need to allocate between $100,000 to $200,000 for that. If you have less, unless you're someone with incredible connection in the space, no one will care about. Then, number three, and I think this is one of the crucial things, is clearly understanding what is the timeline of activities and what kind of partnerships you're gonna leverage down the line. So that means if you're launching a token, you need to be on DAO Maker, you need to be on tier one launchpads like CDFI and others. If you don't get those, no one's gonna care about you in a third tier launchpad. If you're going to exchange, you wanna go in top 30 exchange, top 40 exchange. Nothing as a first time launch, and then as a second launch probably in top 20, top 10. If it's anything below, there is not going to be enough volume. So that's why you need to go to events like this, have friends, partners in the space who can handhold you and get you those relationships, and you have to hustle yourself to get those. Without the relationships and the network, there is no point to even start. The same thing with raising capital. If you don't have a warm connection who's gonna come and literally handhold and say, hey, this is Paula, she's raising, and this is, let's say, Hoda, who is an investor, they're not gonna take your meeting. It's all about the relationships that you need to build, and you build the relationships by going to the right events and meeting the right people. And without these few points, there is no point to start because you're just gonna waste your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, it's very important to be part of communities. I invite you to join Startup Grind. We are in 600 cities, so anywhere in the world you can join us. Get ready for, I think we will have space for maybe one question. We have only a couple of minutes, and the last question for Hoda. Would you like to share more with us about, we already talked a lot about how Dubai is becoming a hub for tech entrepreneurs, but what do you think are the most interesting factors that attract talent to this region?
Yeah, I think the sense of a bit stability that's given by the fact that we live in a very disconnected world when it comes to governance and regulation for building new technologies. And Dubai, since day one, was very clear on their stance of supporting technology development or startup development on new aspects by bypassing the current status quo of regulation if it doesn't make sense. So this experimental space, the fact that you can exist in an experimental space and push for your product to be a market is an attractive feature, I think, that attracts talents to this region. Plus, the distance, as Laura just explained, the distance in between different communities is very short, like the distance in between investors and people who are raising the fund and people who are building the solution, I think is small, so you get to connect easier to people. On the just notion that what we need to improve on is the fact that we need to invest
Unfortunately, we are using somehow one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to the type of investors that we are attracting, because I don't believe that just attracting angel investors or VCs is going to be the solution for the type of ventures that are being built in this region. You have promising startups that comes to this region from Singapore, from London, other parts of the world, and they fail to raise funding because their concept is not as common as what's being socially known in the market. So we need to invest in the 1% and the uncommon 1% more. And I would say we need to build more venture studios, so more of I would say investment on ideation process, more than just investment on a startup that already have revenue generation and already have a specific stack of things. Yeah, thanks.
Hello everyone, my name is Katerina Chernier. I represent the World of Web3 Summit that is taking place on the 8th of October soon. So I see a lot of people who already were speakers with us, and I would love to ask Ms. Grochal, what are the latest regulations in the UAE related to the DAOs?
So that's actually a very good question, thank you. Currently, we have a very specific free zone called DAO, which actually is the first one which is taking care of the so-called DAO wrappers, right? Because we can have a governance model as a DAO and we can agree on it in between each other. Do we have that written down? Who will hold us accountable, right? If I am a whale in a DAO, I am still the only decision maker. I am the leader. Is that fair? These are the questions that we supposed to focus on, right? If we want to stay decentralized, if we want to stay fair and stay growing as DAOs. And that's why we need something that will kind of keep us responsible on paper. And this is where DAO is helping. It's still very early, but they are the first to tap into that. That's obviously Ras Alkhzaimi Emirate.
Can I add to that? I'm not sure if you're familiar as well by the DLT DAO that was established by ADGM. I think it's an interesting piece of work because they're trying to not just build one legislation supporting distributed ledger DAOs, but also like a framework of a series of legislative systems that would support the whole ecosystem. So it's interesting to look at this as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the question, and also to my speakers. It was a pleasure having you all here. Have a great day.